Tim's American Beauty was made by Robust Tools, America's premier lathe manufacturer. Quality hardened tool rests and live centers too. Robust. Built to turn wood. Enjoyed for a lifetime.
Thompson Lathe Tools. Welcome to a new level of professional wood-turning tools. Made by a wood-turner, for wood-turners. Now this wasn't my idea. It was his idea, behind the camera, Brian. He said, let's make a napkin holder, but make it look like a turkey leg. Oh man, was that fun to try to figure out. But we did it. And let me take the napkins out and show you how this works. Here's our turkey leg. And I don't have this glued up yet, so you can see how we have it held with a dowel right there. And then the back is actually one complete disc that we turned. And I'm glad I built this so well. But anyway, whoops, this was like this. We turn this on the lathe, then we take it to the bandsaw, cut it, drill a couple holes, and put it together. Now, I am using a nice piece of bird's eye maple for this one. I want this to show off this time. And this is a 7-inch disc, and it's a 3/4 inch thick piece of wood. Of course, at your lumber yard, they'll say that's 1 inch thick, but that's the way they get you. And then we're taking, and this little scrap piece, I have a piece missing, which won't hurt me, a 2-inch thick piece of hard maple that's 3 inches wide and 9 inches long, and inside of that we will find our turkey leg once we start turning. You can see we're going to be doing a little bit of dyeing, and we're going to be doing a little doweling, and we're going to be doing a little cutting. So it's going to be a fun project. I'm just going to get to the lathe and I'll show you how we're going to hold this sucker on it. Faceplates are cool to use by screwing wood onto them through those holes, but you can also use double-sided tape, and this is special tape that's made for wood turners, and you can find it at about any wood turning supply place. I actually got this from Woodcraft. You can see now I've got 2 pieces on here. This stuff is specially made to hold to wood and any other material. It's thicker than the normal double stick tape you'd see anywhere. It's kind of almost like carpeting tape, but not quite. Don't use carpeting tape, it won't work. Trust me, I know that one. So anyway, I'm kind of cutting off the excess here and doing a beautiful job of it, as you can tell. Now, the hard part here is, do you have fingernails? Well, I don't. So the trick I learned is always leave a little scrap there. You can roll over the edge, and by doing that, it's sticking to the side then, and then you can get the part, the covery part off. I actually trimmed my nails today. I want to look good for you guys. So anyway, this might take a minute here. There we go. I got one. Ha! See? I knew I could do it. Anyway, the whole idea using double stick tape is I don't want to put screw holes in that piece of wood because I want it to look as clean as possible when it's finished. But there will be one hole in there that we will be able to get around, and that's going to be the hole that this live center is going to put into it, because the hole I used for my compass is still here, right? So I'm going to take this and center it up on that point. Then I'm going to bring my tailstock up, lock it in, and then just simply feed the ram. And this is going to go on here perfectly centered now on the blank. Now I'm going to have to rough it out a little bit, but this is going to hold it. I'm putting pressure on here to hold it against the glue or the adhesive on the sticky tape, and I want to leave it there for a couple minutes, and that'll give me the best hold I can get. Now, that should be okay. I'm going to leave the tailstock up just for a minute because it gives me a little bit more strength while I'm turning on the edge here, because you don't want to be a superhero and remove that. Anywho, I've got my lathe low. I've rotated this a few times. Nothing's hitting. Going to turn it on. Low. It's really low, yeah. No, I have the speed low. So I'll bring it up here. And this can go pretty fast. That's at least 1,000 RPM right there. I'm using my swept back grind 3/8 inch bowl gouge. And I'm going to come over to the side. I'm going to get my bevel pointing where I want to go. Put my left foot out so I got my weight so I can shift over like this. So I'm going to put my weight back to my right. And then I'm going to put the tool into the wood and just go across. If the tool doesn't cut, open it up a little bit more. In other words, roll this up like so. That gets you a better cut. If you roll it up too much, you get a better catch. But when it starts going, you know it. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go this way a little bit. When you push out here, it's going to tear a little bit of the grain, but right now I'm just rounding out, so I'm not worried about that yet. So I'm going across. I'm actually looking at the top profile of the wood to make sure I'm straight. Now I'm going to stop a little short there. One more time. It's starting to feel round, but I don't think it's quite there. We have end grain right here, which is going to make a problem. I always wanted hair on my chest. That looks really good right there. Now you can see right here, this is the torn grain I'm talking about because nothing's supporting that. Well, I want to come back now, make one little tiny cut and clean that up. And then we're going to be going to that side right there. So I'm going to come to the side and just very gently make contact. And you just nip that off like so. Now, I don't want a harsh edge either. So I'm going to take just the edge of this and do a pull cut like so. And it's called breaking the edge. So you don't have a sharp point there. After all the sanding, you could actually cut yourself on some of these edges. And this edge right there could cut me right now. That's why I just stuck my finger on it, of course. So anyway, I'm going to come back and do a little pull on it. And you want to keep the tool closed. If you take it up like that, you get a big catch. So anyway, I'm just breaking that edge like so. Cool. Now, I'm going to remove the tool rest, and we're going to go that side, and we're going to show you how to flatten out that end right there. That end, that side. That part, that's going to be the top of the piece. Hear that? When you buy a piece of wood at the lumber yard, generally it's plain, but almost always one side's perfectly flat, but the other's got a little curve to it. So when I mounted my blank up here, I made sure I put the perfectly flat piece against the faceplate so I'd have a good hold. Now with the tailstock removed, that helps me get a really strong hold, which is very important. Now I'm going to use a scraper, and I've set my tool rest up perpendicular to the bed of the lathe, so it's perfectly straight across. We'll turn this on. And I have a really cool scraper here that I got from Thompson Lathe Tools, which I'm trying out for the first time. I used it the other night and I love it. It's actually designed by Jimmy Clues. The tip has got a little slight radius on it, and then it's got this little edge here. It's for doing boxes and such, I think, if we're going into bowls. But I actually like it because I can come into here and just make a very fine pass and flatten out this surface. If I came in here with a bowl gouge or a spindle gouge, the odds of me keeping that tool perfectly straight are pretty slim. And I have enough trouble as it is, so I'm going to go the easiest way possible. Now you could use a carbide tip scraper to do the same thing. All I'm wanting to do is just get a slight contact with the tool and run it in a straight line. You can hear the differences. See, it's off the wood there a little bit, so that means this is a little bit low right here. So I need to bring down the edges just a little bit more. Now the cool thing is when I think I got it flat, the test is really handy. These tool handles are perfectly made. They're CNC milled and all that. So if I put this up here and I look down and I don't see any light between the tool handle and the wood, I know I'm flat. And I am flat. So the next step is we want to take this and remove, I'm going to lock down the headstock, and remove this blank and go to the go to the bandsaw because I got to make one cut. Did I say this stuff holds well? I'm not kidding, guys. Maybe you could use less tape if you do it. Hopefully when you watch our episodes, you watch all the way through, then you go to your shop. Don't go to your shop and watch it and follow me along, because if you did, you'd be at the bandsaw going, I forgot to sand, and then have to put the tape back on, put the blank back on, and then sand. So anyway, watch me first, learn what to do and what not to do, and then go do it, or don't. Anyway, 120, we're gonna work our way through 240. Now to reiterate, make sure you sand before you come to the bandsaw. the way we're going to assemble this is we're going to cut this in half and bring this end up and set it on top. So first off, I want to see where my beautiful grain is, and I love, let's see, I love the way the bird's eye are looking here, because that'll be up. So this is 3/4 of an inch thick, or a little bit less now. I want to cover this hole, so what I'm going to do is make a dot a 1/2 inch this way, okay? So that gives me a point to where I can rotate this now, get in line with the grain, and I'm going to draw a line right here. Now why the 1/2 inch? Because this is 3/4 of an inch thick, and when I cut it and lay it up on here, it's going to cover the hole from the live center. So we're going to take this, turn our bandsaw on. Now if you guys have a bigger shop than mine, mine's only 10 foot by 16 foot, you have a table saw you can go to and make the perfect cut. I don't have room, so we're going to use the bandsaw. I'll show you how to clean up the edge if you only have a bandsaw. Just feed it through and keep your fingers clear of the blade. Now I've got my lathe set up. I have a step center in here. I have a live center here with a point, and this is my blank. And usually you'll see me make an X and make a dead center point right there. Well, not in this case. What I did is I measured a 1/2 inch this way and then made a straight line. So this is dead center here, kind of. And then on the other side, I made my mark there. The reason I'm doing this is because, reach over here, you can see that our turkey leg is 1/2 a leg, because that's how the napkins get held up, because that side is flat. So on this piece of wood, this side is already planed flat. It's already there, so I might as well use it. And that's why we're gonna turn this off center this way. So I'll put that in there, bring my tailstock up a little bit closer. Back up, back up. This doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm gonna reverse that because anyway, I want my fat end to be down here because it's a spindle turning, so I want the most mass on the headstock side, and the bone is going to be on this side. And also, you can see that, like I said, it's a scrap piece of wood. It's already missing. I already took a bite out of it. It looks so good. You definitely want to make sure nothing's hitting when you spin this, because you're going to be doing some air right off the bat. And I want to get this tool rest as close as I can. Bring it up like so. And you could use a roughing gouge for this, but I'm going to start shaping this right off the bat. So I'm going to go for my big old fat 1/2 inch spindle gouge. It's got a shallow flute, so it gives me a lot of strength. It's got a swept back grind, so it gives me a way to aim it. I'm going to bring my face mask down because this is a little bit scary right off the bat. Turn that on. You're going to get a little vibration, but you can speed up past it. And once you do that, you're cool. And I'm going to bring in a little bit of light to help me out here. It's a really cool LED light that I found online. Craft Supplies is the only one that sells it right now. And it's very helpful when you're doing turnings because it helps old eyes a lot. You can see we're turning air, and believe me, I can feel the air off of it because it's like a fan blade. So we're going to make contact and just come across, and we're going to just start roughing it out. And the reason I have the face mask on is because since I'm only turning half of the blank, there's a slight chance that some of the wood could chip off, and I don't want to get hit with a big chunk. Now, if it flies over that way and gets Brian, it's okay. He's got insurance. So we're going to do that. I'm going to pick the speed up just a little bit. Oh, does that sound good? Come in here. There we go. You see we just cut away. My goal is to get the side round, and that'll be the meat part of the leg of the turkey.
Tim's American Beauty was made by Robust Tools, America's premier lathe manufacturer. Quality hardened tool rests and live centers too. Robust. Built to turn wood. Enjoyed for a lifetime.
Thompson Lathe Tools. Welcome to a new level of professional wood turning tools. Made by a wood turner for wood turners.